This is a quick walkthrough of Odinsynth, a system for synthesizing information extraction rules from just a handful of examples. For our first example, let's imagine we want to find mentions of organizations in a large collection of documents. We need to provide the machine with at least one example of an organization in our corpus. We know that most organizations have headquarters, so let's search for headquarters of. Let's look at this example, headquarters of Fust Design. All right, why don't we provide this to the machine and see if it can use this one example to generate an information extraction rule for organizations. So the way we do that is we click annotate, and we'll help out the machine a little bit this time by giving it the context we think is relevant. So we'll go ahead and highlight the relevant context, headquarters of, and we'll highlight our entity. Here it's Fust Design, right? That's our organization. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And now that example has been added to the stash. The stash is the specification that the machine will use to generate our information extraction rule. Now, we've only provided one example, but let's see if that's enough for the machine to come up with something useful. Let's click Generate Rule. All right, we have our first rule, and that rule is displayed right here. But rather than focusing on the rule, let's look at the output, what's matched by this rule. Right, so we're getting things like headquarters in San Ramon. We're getting at Niagara Falls, of Radio Free Iraq. So we're getting some organizations and some things that are not organizations, namely locations. So why don't we tell the machine to avoid certain things? So we'll add this to our specification. We'll say, don't match anything here. Click this button. Okay, so we now have our second rule, our new rule, and it's displayed right here. And the results of which are in this column, right? And this is looking much, much better. Now we're getting things like Radio Free Iraq, we're getting Learning Direct, and other mentions of organizations. So by providing just two examples, one positive and one negative, the machine was able to learn a pattern that matched our expectation. But as an end user, I don't need to know anything about this particular rule language or how it works. I can make my decisions purely based on the results of those extractions.